All right, there we go. 3, 2, and 1. Well, Mary Katie, welcome back. Mayor's Monday here at WSAU, WSAU.com. Give us an idea. Has there been anything at all worth talking about in the city lately?
Are you kidding me? I mean, everything we do is worth talking about, right? Or at least maybe we should.
Right.
Trying to be as open as possible. But I think what you're angling at is that maybe it's budget season and the folks' eyes glaze over. Like, this is the most important thing we do.
Right.
But it's also budgeting.
Yes.
So, yeah, we've been working on that. I mean, we've been working on this since, hardcore before Labor Day. So it's been nonstop. We've been going back and forth. So lots of opportunity. And of course, our budget is under $100 million, which is a lot of money, but it's not enough to do everything we want to do. So we're deciding what our priorities are. We've already gone through the capital improvement project list and decided what we would fund there. We've got a lot of last minute things like dump trucks and things that we're talking about. But of course, we're still kind of finagling with the last, I think we're looking at trying to balance $700,000. So we're almost there.
Almost there.
We'll be there.
Yes.
But that's where we're at.
Indeed. And I know you've got 3 sessions coming up with the whole city council to kind of take a deep dive into these numbers and what they mean. Obviously, they're going to be the least attended meetings.
Did you attend those last year and now you know from experience?
But still, as you said, I'm going to plead the fifth on that. As you said, though, this is probably the most important thing that the residents need to know about, or that the residents, some of them may care about.
Yes, it's super important. I mean, this is where we set our policy priorities. So if you want to know what a city cares about, you look at its budget. So obviously we care a lot about Department of Public Works, about public safety. We care a lot about that stuff. We have a lot more going into elections than we've had to do probably in the past, although I haven't been here for all the elections past. But kind of tangentially to this, we're talking about the ARPA funds. So we got 15.6 million there. We're talking about that. What do we want to do? And the council's kind of batting around their priorities on that too. So we got a lot of opportunity, but again, we can't do everything.
Yeah.
What do you want done?
Yeah, exactly.
Fill the potholes, plow the snow, do all the things.
Exactly.
And
things like a new pothole filling machine is something that Mayor Riza down in Stevens Point, his eyes lit up right away when I asked him about this, and he said, this is something great that we are able to do with our city and do more with less this year. What do you have, maybe? Do you have a new infrared pothole filler that's going to be coming?
So I can't attest to that kind of gadgetry. I'm very intrigued. We're going to, we obviously want to know how that goes. Here, Riza, let us know how it goes. But we're trying to do things like fill the gaps where it comes to people, right? Like, I think every single municipality, every single business, everyone is dealing with this kind of employment scenario where you can't find the people you want to do the work. So that's one of the things we need to focus on is how do we get people? Are our wages right? Are we asking the right skill set? What do we need to do here? So like that's a discussion, while not necessarily budget wise, but we're going to be budgeting for things like that. Like I've asked our HR director, can we make sure that we're budgeting for a culture survey? It's not something we've done, something they do at the county. So we're looking at how can we make sure that the people we have here want to stay here for their entire career.
Yeah, exactly.
I want it.
Exactly.
Stay forever, guys.
So, okay, again, you're telling us you're not leaving office anytime soon. You want these people to stay forever because you want to work with them, right?
Yes, I feel like you're going down a path that I wasn't expecting here. Yes, I will be here for as long as the people of Wausau want me here.
All right, so now that we've semi-opened that can of worms, we're going to close it. But that you do give a great segue there into what I was going to ask you about next, because coming up here at a future HR meeting, you are going to be talking about how do we retain our people in the city.
Yeah. So we, it's not just one department that's feeling this. It's not. You've experienced it in your place where you work, right? So we're struggling with, we have low unemployment. We have people who are maybe opting to do different kinds of work and they don't have to do the stuff that we need done as a city. So we're talking about what does it take to get folks here? How do we get them to stay? And what can we do to just nurture their careers, through their tenure here? So We're talking about, okay, so how do we attract people here? Do they know what kind of jobs we have? You've probably seen some of our videos. We have a really great one for the mechanics at DPW. It's so good. It makes me want to become a mechanic. Like, what was I thinking? So we want to attract people, but we also need to keep people. You know, I've seen other cities doing, you know, staying bonuses, things like that. People are using their ARPA funds to make sure people stay here. And so that's short-term stuff. I don't know the kinds of things that the council will find as a priority, but, you know, there's some things that I'm noticing as we're hiring folks. It's not always about pay, right? It's about what's the culture like, but it's also, and I'm going to take this lesson to my heart, vacation time. People want vacation time. So that's another discussion we can have that, you know, it doesn't necessarily impact the taxpayer's bottom line, right? But that's the lifestyle stuff that people want. So as we're considering, you know, the big ideas of economic development and placemaking, like we also got to have a culture here where people love to come to work every day and that they can enjoy their time off too.
So then give us an idea of, do you know exactly how many job openings are there right here in City Hall?
Oh my gosh, this is a quiz. I don't know. I don't know exactly. But you know, there are certain departments that have more than others. One of them is our Metro Ride, right? They've got openings. So if you're interested in getting your CDL and driving a bus, we got 7 openings for you. So we need bus drivers. We need folks who will work on our roads. Another thing where CDLs, so, you know, in the winter, maybe you'll plow. In the summer, maybe you'll fix. There are all kinds of opportunities there. We're always looking for more folks to apply for public safety. So they're very hardcore about the kind of folks they bring into the department. So if you think you have the kind of personality and drive to be a good police officer or firefighter, you know, we have opportunities. So we need you.
and again, a great city to live in as well here in Wausau. So
the best small city in Wisconsin, right?
You've got that going for you as well. So again, city jobs, where are they posted?
Yep, we have them on our website. Employment tab, got them all listed. You know, we would love to hear from you. I have some crazy ideas about how to like let people know more about this and get their questions answered, but I haven't really alerted HR to those crazy ideas yet. I have some department head buy-in, so, you know, stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll, you know, ask you to ride along with me on some of those crazy ideas.
All right. We'll see what happens. So we'll be waiting with.
I'll take that as a yes.
With bated breath for that as well. As long as it involves goats, I think we can get people on board.
I've actually had some folks writing in about the ARPA funding. They would like goats to eat their residential lawns. They think that would be a neat thing to do. So, you know, I don't think we're there yet as a city, but I love the creativity and the idea. So keep them coming.
Yes, keep the creative juices flowing. Speaking of keeping things flowing through possibly lead pipes in the city.
Your segue is just too brilliant.
Too brilliant. Maybe not brilliant enough. We'll leave that to the listeners to decide. There was a lot of discussion last week about the lead pipe ordinance in the city. Again, we should frame this. It's a proposal right now. There's nothing in the ordinance that says within the next 5 years the city is going to be completely lead-free, but it is going to be completely lead-free, yet the date is just to be determined.
Yeah, so we've had this discussion going since before I got here, right? Like, we were figuring out how do we get those lead service lines out of the city side, which we do every time we come across one and it's on our property, we remove them. But we also would like that to happen with residential. So, you know, we offer the grant. You can get up to $5,000. If we're tearing up your street already, we'll give you $5,000. You got to hire your plumber. We'll get it done for your side, your house, your residential, your business, your daycare, whatever it is. But, you know, you have to voluntarily buy into this, right? So some people maybe don't want to deal with the hassle. Maybe they can't find a plumber. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's not happening. So we are kind of bandying around the idea because we've seen other cities, Green Bay most notably, right? They're completely lead-free in those lead service lines, or those service lines. So we looked at what they did. They have an ordinance. So it compels you, otherwise you face a fine, to replace that. So we've talked about it. We definitely need a lot of public input into this. Like, why are people opting not to do this? What are the pinch points? You know, do we need to reconfigure the program? So that's what we're talking about. Lots of time still to talk about that. People are interested. Pay attention to the Waterworks Commission. That's where you would come talk to us. I chair that, so feel free to write me. So yeah, that's where we're at.
And I know a lot of people are going to see something like this and automatically they just want to shut it down because it's the city telling me how to spend my money. I have to do it on the city's watch. You know, if you read through the ordinance, it is there. It says if we are doing our side, you would have to do yours as well. There also compels the other way. If you volunteer to do it, the city would replace its end on it as well. But one way or another, this has got to get done if the city is going to be as healthy as it can be, right?
Right, yeah. The goal is to get the lead out of these pipes, right? So that's what we want. We want people to be safe. We want them to have access to safe drinking water. We don't want to screw around here. So right now, I mean, you should feel safe if you run your water. You know, there are ways, if you know that you have lead in those service lines, you can run the water, you can do testing. You know, there's options through the health department to test. So you can look at what you have. But yeah, we want to get rid of it. We want to be done.
Yeah, I know a lot of people had said, well, maybe if you compel people to replace the lead line when the house is sold or something like that. Are those discussions that you're willing to have?
Oh, we are taking all the ideas, right? Like that's a great idea. I am putting that in my mental notebook. And when you leave, I'll put it in my actual notebook. But, you know, there are definitely options there that we could talk about. You know, we want to make sure that people are able to fulfill their end without too much of a burden. Like, of course, ripping up the sidewalk and all that like that. It's going to be tough for a couple of weeks, but you know, if you're getting your road done, you might as well get that done too.
Yeah, indeed. And that's something that I know you're talking about ARPA funding for as well. Has there been any more investigations as to how that could be used to offset some costs?
A few months ago, we looked into like what would it cost to do every single line here in the city, and I want to say it was somewhere 2 to 3 million. And you know, we have 15.6, so if the council says that this is the priority that we want to tackle, you know, we could hire the plumbers and get it done that way. You know, that's an option. It's expensive, but we can get it done. So we just have to decide how we want to do this. What are our priorities? Is it affordable housing? Is it lead? Is it all of them?
Yeah, exactly. Because affordable housing too is another one that you're going to be talking about pretty extensively for the next few, not just months, the next 18 months to 2 years probably.
Right, yeah, so I think you're referring to the study that we've agreed to participate in, which is great. It's a regional study. You know, I've heard from my friends in Weston and Rothschild, you know, like, we're all kind of dealing with this. We want affordable housing. And so this will help us kind of get at solutions, or at least frame the policy questions that we need to ask. You know, I've been talking to our team, how do we make this happen? It's not like you could just build old housing, right? Like that tends to be what the affordable portion is. And they said, well, you know, it's kind of like, you know, it used to be like getting a used car if you could get one, right? You needed people to buy new cars in order to then have access to the used car. So there's some of that kind of mentality too. Like we got to figure out just to free up the stock for everybody. So, you know, we'll get to those solutions. Hopefully the study helps us frame it. But at the same time, we have our Wausau task force working on affordable housing. So that first meeting is getting scheduled. I know we've struggled with vacations and stuff over the summer, but we're ready to go there too. So stay tuned. I keep saying stay tuned. Like everyone's waiting on YouTube. Like I gotta watch this city meeting. I'm sure
some of us are.
I know you are. But listen, I sometimes pop a little popcorn and watch those county meetings, and you know, my husband's like, "What are you doing? You are home tonight with me." I'm like, but stop.
Yes. Just sometimes there's no off position on the Genius switch, right?
Oh, is that what that is?
I think so.
Thank you.
That's at least
I appreciate that. But I also feel like maybe it's a humble brag on your part.
Plead the fifth again.
Again.
Twice. Yes. On that note, we always appreciate the time, Mayor Katie. We'll look forward to chatting and seeing again where these developments take us as we continue to tout Wausau as a great place to live and grow, right?
Forward.
And